One player just forced an entire league to rethink how it does business. Arenas are being upgraded to 5 times their normal capacity. Tickets in cities that don't even have a roster yet are vanishing in hours. And the price to walk through the door when this one person shows up is more than double what it costs to see anyone else in the league. This isn't hype. This isn't marketing spin. The numbers are sitting right there in front of us, and they tell a story the WNBA probably wishes it could control. But what's unfolding right now around Caitlin Clark is so far beyond anything this league was built to handle that it's creating cracks in the foundation nobody in charge seems ready to address. Salaries are exploding. Expansion teams are breaking records before they've even drafted a single player. And the tension between the player driving all of this and the league profiting from it, it's reaching a tipping point. What's coming in the 2026 season might push everything over the edge. And the wildest part? It all started with a simple arena announcement out of Atlanta that said way more than anyone intended. The Indiana Fever are scheduled to play 2 road games against the Atlanta Dream this season. And both of those matchups, June 20th and August 16th, just got moved from Gateway Center Arena in College Park, Georgia. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. To State Farm Arena in downtown Atlanta. On the surface, that sounds like a routine scheduling update. But when you look at the numbers, the move tells a completely different story. Gateway Center Arena holds about 3,500 fans for basketball. State Farm Arena seats roughly 17,000. That's not a minor adjustment. That's nearly 5 times the capacity. And ownership's explanation? A scheduling conflict. The Dream's owner framed it as an opportunity to bring an exciting early season matchup to a bigger stage. But let's not pretend this is about logistics. WNBA teams know Fever fans travel. They know Clark draws additional fans to Indiana's games even on the road. And this isn't the first time a team has pulled this exact move. Teams like the Connecticut Sun, Dallas Wings, and Washington Mystics have all relocated games to bigger venues specifically for Fever matchups. And the Dream themselves? This is the 3rd year in a row they've done it. Back on the 26th of August 2024, the Dream set a Georgia WNBA attendance record with 17,608 fans showing up to watch Indiana play. Then, on the 22nd of May 2025, another 17,044 fans packed the building in what was confirmed as a complete sellout. Now they're not limiting it to just Fever games anymore. The Dream announced they'll host 5 home games at State Farm Arena during the 2026 season, featuring 4 different opponents. 5 games, 4 opponents. You see how the domino effect works? Clark's gravitational pull didn't just open the door to a bigger arena. It blew the door clean off the hinges. Every big matchup now gets the same treatment because ownership saw the revenue those Fever games generated and realized they were sitting on a gold mine they'd been ignoring. But here's what nobody in the front office wants to say publicly. This entire trend started because of one name on the schedule. One player who turned a 3,500-seat building into a 17,000-seat event. And the financial implications of that are sending shockwaves through every franchise in the league. But what's happening in Toronto might be even more eye-opening. The Toronto Tempo are making history before they've even played a single game. As the WNBA's first international franchise, founded in 2026, Canada's entry into women's professional basketball has generated genuine excitement. Season seats sold out back in December. The buzz is real, but there's one game on their schedule that tells you exactly where the demand is really coming from. On August 18th, the Tempo host the Indiana Fever at Scotiabank Arena. That game is already nearing a complete sellout, months before tip-off. Only limited upper bowl seats remain, and those are going for between $145 and $161 in the 300 level. That's nosebleed territory. In a building that holds close to 20,000 people. For a regular season game featuring a team that literally has no players under contract yet. Now compare that to another Tempo home game at the exact same venue. When the Phoenix Mercury visit on June 27th, upper bowl seats in the 300 level start at $47.75. Lower bowl tickets range from roughly $97 to $135. So you've got one game where you can walk in for under $50 and another where the cheapest seat in the house costs 3 times as much. Same arena, same expansion team novelty, same lack of a roster. The only difference is which opponent, or more specifically, which player, is on the schedule that night. And this is where it becomes impossible to spin. There's obviously genuine excitement about the Tempo as a franchise. Canadian fans have waited years for a WNBA team, and that enthusiasm is real. But enthusiasm alone doesn't explain a 3-to-1 pricing gap between 2 home games in the same building. Enthusiasm alone doesn't sell out the upper bowl months in advance at $161 a ticket when another game has seats available at $48. Rumors suggest this has almost nothing to do with general support for women's basketball in Toronto, and everything to do with the chance to witness one generational talent step onto that court. The Tempo haven't picked a single player. There's no local star to rally behind. No rivalry to fuel interest. The only name anyone knows for certain will be in that building is Caitlin Clark. And if you think those numbers are wild, wait until you see how the pricing gap plays out across the entire league. Here's where the data gets impossible to argue with. When the Indiana Fever are the visiting team, the average ticket price jumps to $106.32. That represents a 125.7% increase compared to what teams normally charge when other squads come to town. That's the biggest spike in the entire WNBA, not by a little, by a mile. When Caitlin Clark walks into your building, ticket prices more than double. Nobody else in the league comes close to generating that kind of demand. Want a side-by-side comparison that really drives the point home? When the Fever played Portland's new expansion franchise, the cheapest ticket was $214. When the Las Vegas Aces, featuring back-to-back MVP Aja Wilson and legitimate championship pedigree, played that exact same Portland team, you could get into the building for $52. Same opponent, same expansion novelty, same regular season game. A $162 difference per seat, and the only variable that changed was which star was on the opposing bench. And it doesn't stop there. When Clark returned to Iowa for the Fever's preseason game against Brazil, average ticket prices hit $670. That's the highest average ticket price for any WNBA event since at least 2015. $670 for a preseason exhibition match. People were paying NBA Finals prices just to watch her warm up. But here's the flip side that proves this isn't broad-based growth. It's concentrated in one person. When Clark suffered a left quad strain and her availability became uncertain, ticket prices for affected games dropped from $137 to $80 almost overnight, a 42% collapse. Then, when she announced she couldn't compete in the All-Star game due to a groin injury, the get-in price crashed 48% from $121 to just $64. The average resale price had been sitting at $262, a new WNBA record. Then she pulls out, and the entire market craters. If that doesn't tell you how much of this financial boom is tethered to a single individual, nothing ever will. Every dollar of growth, every attendance record, every premium ticket price, it all traces back to one jersey number. And the most unsettling part isn't how much money she generates. It's how little she was actually being paid for it. That gap between her value and her paycheck created a tension that was impossible to ignore. This is the number that made people lose their minds. In 2025, Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary was $78,066. That's it. $78,000 for the player single-handedly reshaping the league's financial landscape. According to a financial expert at Indiana University, Clark helped drive more than a quarter of all WNBA revenue last year. Her total economic impact in 2025 was projected to reach a staggering $1 billion. Her popularity boosted merchandise sales by 500%. She helped quadruple the estimated value of the Fever franchise, and her 4-year rookie contract, it totaled just $338,056. $338,000 spread across 4 years. For a player whose presence alone was generating hundreds of millions in value, off the court, reports suggest she was pulling in around $16 million through endorsements. But her actual league salary was less than what some assistant coaches make at mid-major college programs. The gap between what she earned and what she was worth wasn't just noticeable, it was insulting, and everyone knew it. The new CBA changes the math significantly. Clark's salary jumps to $530,000 in 2026. She could earn the projected max of $1.3 million in 2027 and the projected supermax of $1.7 million in 2028, thanks to a new provision called Epic Exceptional Performance on initial contract, which lets players on rookie deals start earning top dollar immediately instead of waiting for those contracts to expire. The broader deal is historic across the board. The salary cap jumps from $1.5 million to $7 million. Maximum salaries start at $1.4 million and are projected to exceed $2.4 million. Average salaries rise to $583,000, and minimums range from $270,000 to $300,000, depending on experience. Players will receive roughly 20% of league revenue over the life of the deal, and a massive $2.2 billion media rights deal kicks in this year, fundamentally transforming the league's financial reality. But here's the thing. Those improvements, the charter flights, the better hotels, the salary explosions, they're all funded by a revenue boom that one player had an outsized role in creating. And while Clark goes from $78K to $530K, players like Angel Reese see their salaries rise from $74,909 to $349,571. That's still a significant bump, but it's well below Clark's raise. And if you think that pay gap won't reignite every simmering rivalry in the league, you haven't been paying attention to what happened on the court. Throughout her young WNBA career, Caitlin Clark has been subjected to a level of physicality that goes beyond normal competitive play. She leads the league in flagrant fouls, drawn nearly double any other player, and the pattern has prompted serious discussion about whether this stems from basketball competition or something deeper. The incidents stack up fast. During the 2024 playoffs, the Dejounte Carrington eye poke incident set the internet ablaze. Social media erupted with videos and photos of Carrington's fingers making contact with Clark's eye, along with a wave of claims and speculation about whether it was intentional. Then, in 2025, things escalated further. During a Fever Sun game, Clark got swiped in the eye by J.C. Sheldon. Clark lightly pushed Sheldon and stepped away, only to be surrounded by Sun players. Tina Charles shoved Clark back. Then, Marina Mabre pushed her to the ground. The clip went viral, and the fallout was immediate. As the league reached its All-Star break, pressure mounted to address officiating and the level of physicality being tolerated on the court. Players and coaches demanded greater consistency. Fever coach Stephanie White was direct about it, acknowledging the increased physicality against Clark and across the league overall. She noted the level of physical play had reached heights not seen in a long time and stressed the need to find ways to make things easier for her star player. The conversation didn't stay inside the basketball world either. On his show, Stephen A. Smith cited a Wall Street Journal opinion piece and warned that Clark's treatment risked more than just reputational damage to the league. He suggested it could invite a federal civil rights review if left unaddressed. Whether you think that take is justified or exaggerated, the fact that the discussion escalated to that level tells you how serious the situation had become. And here's what makes this particularly dangerous heading into 2026. Last season's physical targeting happened when the financial gap between Clark and the rest of the league was already obvious. Now that gap is even wider. More arenas are being upgraded. More expansion teams are selling out specifically for fever games. The ticket price comparisons are even more dramatic. Every player in the league can see those numbers. And the resentment that fueled last year's on-court aggression, it hasn't gone anywhere. If anything, it's been simmering, and the comments coming from the very top of the league haven't helped one bit. You'd think the people running the WNBA would be doing everything possible to protect their biggest asset and manage the growing tension. Instead, one comment from the very top of the league's power structure poured gasoline on an already raging fire. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert allegedly said that Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. Let that sink in for a moment. The commissioner of the league, the person responsible for protecting and promoting every single player, reportedly told people that the player generating more revenue than anyone in WNBA history should just be thankful for the peaceful opportunity. The backlash was immediate and savage. Fans flooded social media, pointing out the obvious flaw in the logic. One response captured the mood perfectly, noting that Clark had major endorsements before she ever stepped foot in the WNBA. Her brand was already massive coming out of Iowa. The idea that the league made her, rather than the other way around, struck people as delusional. The optics couldn't have been worse. Here's a player generating record-shattering revenue, filling arenas across the continent, and driving the television ratings that secured a $2.2 billion media deal, and the league's top executive is telling her to be grateful? That kind of disconnect breeds exactly the dysfunction this league claims to be fighting against. It signals to other players that the front office doesn't fully grasp the value its biggest star brings. And it gave ammunition to every critic who argues the WNBA takes Clark's contributions for granted while simultaneously profiting from them. The frustration isn't limited to fans either. Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier went public with a statement about the current state of the league after she was unable to suit up for her team's season-ending loss due to an ankle injury sustained on a controversial no call. Her words cut deep, stating that the real threat to the league isn't money, ratings, missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. When one of the most respected veterans in the WNBA goes public with something that blunt, you know the problems aren't just surface level. The cracks run deep. And with the 2026 season approaching the most financially significant year in league history, the question is whether anyone at the top is actually listening. Because the storm clouds are gathering fast, the WNBA is about to enter arguably the most important season in its history, and the collision of factors is unlike anything this league has faced. A new CBA, a $2.2 billion media rights deal, 2 new expansion franchises, record-breaking ticket demand, and a tension between players that never fully resolved from last season. All of it is converging at once. The league has experienced explosive growth over the past 2 seasons, shattering records in attendance, television ratings, ticket sales, and merchandise. With expansion to 15 teams adding Toronto and Portland, the WNBA is in the thick of its most aggressive growth phase yet, and it's not slowing down. Plans are already in place to reach 18 teams by 2030, with franchises in Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia on the way. The money is flowing. The infrastructure is improving. Charter flights, better hotels, dramatically higher salaries. On paper, this is everything the league has ever dreamed of. The new landmark CBA assures labor peace through the 2032 season. Players are earning more than they've ever earned. The product should be thriving. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody in the league office wants to say out loud. So much of this momentum is connected to one person that the entire model becomes fragile the moment she's unavailable. We saw ticket prices crater during her injuries. We saw All-Star Game demand collapse. We saw expansion cities sell out for fever dates months in advance, while other matchups sat at a fraction of the interest. What happens to expansion franchise valuations if Clark can't be guaranteed for the next 5 years? What happens to that $2.2 billion TV deal if the ratings gap between Fever Games and everyone else keeps getting wider? What happens the next time a hard foul sidelines her for weeks and entire markets watch their investments evaporate overnight? The league can't tell teams to stop moving games to bigger arenas when the demand is right there. They can't tell expansion cities to charge less when fans are lining up to pay triple-digit prices. They can't manufacture equivalent interest in other players when the market has spoken this clearly about what it wants. But they also can't let the on-court environment deteriorate into something that puts their most valuable asset at risk. They can't let resentment poison the product. They can't let careless comments from leadership undermine the very people driving this growth. Something has to give. And this season, it probably will. So, here's where we are. Atlanta moved games to State Farm Arena again. And this time, it's not just 2 Fever matchups. It's 5 games across 4 opponents, because Clark's gravity rewrote the entire playbook. Toronto is selling out at $161 a seat for a team with 0 players on the roster. The Clark Premium is in its 3rd year, and it's bigger, louder, and more undeniable than ever before. But the real question was never whether she could keep driving this kind of demand. She's proven that, beyond any shadow of doubt. The real question is whether the WNBA can build something sustainable around it before the pressure cooker blows, before the resentment finds another target on the court, before the next injury tanks another market, before the gap between what she generates and what the league gives back becomes impossible to justify. Can the new CBA calm things down, or will the pay gap between Clark and her rivals ignite even more tension? Will the league finally crack down on the physical play, or are we headed for another season of hard fouls and heated post-game moments? Drop your predictions in the comments, because this might be the storyline that defines not just one season, but the entire future of women's basketball. Stay locked in with my channel, Simply Explained, your home for the truth behind the WNBA headlines.